All right, hello everyone. My name is Bryce Crumrine. I've been working with the Pi System for about 3 years now, and I'm gonna take about the next 10 minutes to talk about brief overview of what Pi data infrastructure is, what that means, talking about the Pi System and upcoming innovations that are coming with it within this year or early next year. So when you hear Pi data infrastructure, this is an edge to enterprise to cloud offering. It was announced, AVEVA created it at the end of 2023. So it's been out for about 2 years now. And really why we created it is to ensure we're meeting the data needs of evolving technology, being able to bring remote data out of the shadows, data sources that sit outside the four walls of your traditional organization, remote devices that maybe only get connectivity once every hour, once every few hours, having tools to bring that data in, enhanced functionality and performance with the on-premises storage of your real-time time series data within the Pi server, and additional use cases within the cloud, within Connect, other solutions for any AI analysis, machine learning, things like that. So, in talking about upcoming innovations, what is coming with the Pi System, currently with our latest version of the Pi System, Pi Server 2024, we've been working to reduce IT load and hardware and infrastructure needed to host your on-premises Pi server. So soon you will be able to host the back-end SQL database framework for both Asset Framework, which is the component of Pi that adds all of that context to your time series data. Pi is extremely powerful in aggregating multiple sources of information into a single solution. And in order to do that effectively, it needs to add context and naming patterns that make sense. Subject matter experts from their own systems may know those naming conventions. Once it's pushed up to an enterprise level, finance, people within operations making decisions, they need to know what that information is. That is what Asset Framework strives to do. And currently, you only have the ability of hosting that SQL database in Azure. Soon you'll have multiple options, Amazon RDS, the managed SQL instance, in addition to the ability of hosting the backend database for Pi Vision, which is our visualization tool. I'm going to jump into that in a little bit since I think Rob was unable to show Connect if it's down. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Pi, Pi Vision is the end result, the end game. If you're vaguely familiar with Pi, you've likely seen a Pi Vision screen, visualizing that data, seeing those analytics, being able to make decisions in real time for operations, enterprise, things like that. So this functionality reduces IT, really the work required by IT, by being able to store components that once were required on premises with the Pi System, now in the cloud. I'm going to jump to this. So outside during the demo booth times, I had this up. This is Pi Vision. This is our web-based visualization tool. I can pull up this same display or any display I've built on my phone, on any device, to be able to view any data that I've stored within Pi. It's building upon context that you've added, like I've mentioned, being able to relate assets to each other, knowing what components, what pumps are associated to which area, or you can create data-rich visualizations such as this. Pi Vision requires no programming, no custom coding. It's all drag and drop. So even though this seems like it's quite complex, this actually took a lot less time than it may seem to have built. You can see financial information, roll-ups, and KPIs. Pi has its own calculation engine that enables you to get insights out of your data. Getting all of your data into one single pane of glass is one thing, but making that data actionable requires some sort of analytics, some sort of efficiency calculations that Pi can do built in with an Excel-like tool. I'll be building both a visualization, a dashboard within Pi Vision, building an analytic, analyzing events within Pi in the deep dive lab later this afternoon. Checking on time. Here I can click within a zone and drill down even further into, say, a district metered area where I can see detailed information regarding dollars lost, leakage information for this specific area. If I'm within operations, I can look at my pumps, And here I can see vibration information, pump curve analysis, if there's any anomalies within a specific pump, something that's not performant, I can click to see any events associated, whether it's high vibration, high leakage, minimal night flow, and be able to actually look into those, address what caused them, and alert others, because anyone within my operations, within my organization, can view the same exact display that's built, all together to understand what the health of my assets are, being able to prevent any downtime, expensive downtime events, and things like that. I'm going to jump back to next, upcoming innovations with the Pi system and Pi data infrastructure. Our latest version will enable AFSDK support for .NET 8.0. AFSDK is what allows you to programmatically access data stored in the Pi system, create your own custom applications for ingesting or pulling data out of the Pi system. And so it's an open source framework optimized for developers, modern applications. And so being able to support the latest version decreases any development time and other platform dependencies, and of course increases those application life cycles, their performance and compliance if needed. So now that I showed you Pi Vision, every year we strive to release, or we do release, a new version of Pi Vision. Pi Vision 2024, our current version, it implemented over 25 user enhancement requests from current Pi system users. Because it is how majority of, your first interaction with the Pi system is through this tool, we want to give you as many tools and reduce the time needed to get insights out of your data and out of your Pi system through a tool like this. So with our latest version that's coming out later this year, we've made massive improvements into the ad-hoc workspace, which is the video you're seeing here. You can think of the ad-hoc workspace as pulling in attributes from a specific asset, being able to address and understand its performance in real time. Currently, you have to pull in or double-click something on a pre-existing display to show that information. Soon, you'll be able to pull in things and search anything in your Pi server and add it to the ad-hoc workspace. Pi Vision comes with a bunch of drag and drop symbols, being able to trend, showing a radial gauge, some things you might have seen when I had Pi Vision up earlier. We've made improvements with being able to transpose trend and charts where you can better compare asset to asset, and so you can set asset priority. We've increased admin capabilities with additional permissions within folders within Pi Vision as well. So Pi Vision, we strive to add new functionality, new use cases every single year, and this is a glimpse of what's coming with our latest version of Pi Vision. Next, I would say one thing the Pi system's always been very well known for is our ability to pull data from any industrial source, any protocol, and so we continue to develop upon these tools, what we call Pi interfaces and connectors, to pull that information from whatever source. So you can see here, OPC UA, DNP3, these are interfaces and tools we've had for forever that require no programming required to pull on that information, just a simple user interface, creating those tags. And so we're releasing new versions of the protocols you see there, Pi to Pi, universal file loading, being able to pull data from a SQL database, releasing new versions of these tools that we currently have, creating fixes, solving issues that customers have brought to us, better integrating health information to understand how the Pi software itself is performing so it can manage itself, it can check its own health for you, ensuring more reliable and secure data collection for critical operations, being able to streamline integration with simplified tools and automation. On the connector side, Pi System Connector sends data from one Pi system to another, very useful in enterprise situations. We're generating an entirely new generation of that software with a new graphical user interface to better configure and manage that tool. Adapters are our latest data collection tool that can actually enable sending data directly from your edge or remote devices straight to the cloud or your on-premises Pi server. And we're releasing new versions of RDBMS, MQTT, edge modules that support failover, so you can have a sort of high redundancy. You can always ensure that data is getting stored, pushed up into the cloud, you're never losing it. They also support modern authentication protocols, OpenID Connect. Being able to support OPC UA alarms and conditions is not something we've had the capability of doing before, and soon you'll be able to when these are released. AVEVA Identity Manager is our own authentication tool that allows you to manage access to AVEVA applications, whether it's the Pi system, whether it's Connect, other tools, and soon you'll have redundancy at that level as well, where you now only require one server to manage. Previously, you'd have one server, now you can have multiple to ensure that it's always authenticating. You're not having to back or roll back to basic authentication, something like that that's much less secure. Also, when you're wanting to leverage Pi System on-premises Pi System data in the cloud, currently you require one system or one agent that sends that data up to the cloud for each Pi System installation. Soon you will only need one of those agents to send data from multiple Pi servers. What that means, again, less infrastructure required, less for IT to manage, less that's installed or required to be installed on various Pi System components, reducing costs and things that you need to maintain on your infrastructure. For a long time, we've been able to expose Pi System data as OPC DA for additional analysis, and soon we are creating an OPC UA server where you can now expose Pi System data as an OPC UA server as well to better align with a newer protocol, modern standard, future-proofing operations, things like that. As always, not just with the Pi system, but with all AVEVA applications. Like I was mentioning with Pi Vision, we are constantly looking at what customers are telling us, what features they'd like to see, what capabilities. Our portfolio team, our product managers, R&D are constantly looking at this site to determine what we look to develop and implement into the Pi system. So I encourage you, if you're a current user of the Pi system, you're less familiar with the Pi system, you're using another AVEVA application, we heavily look into this website. I will submit things on behalf of customers here to ensure that our products are meeting the needs for all of you. So thank you guys.